Henry's on hold, right? Okay. Yes, I'm gonna do the intro, go to Henry, have some announcements, and then the bosun call. Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station. Okay, start it over. That's okay. Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or National Guard and Reserves, you've come to the right place. American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, you know this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please get comfortable, grab a nice beverage, and a pencil and paper to jot down a note or two, because we're always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force veteran, a retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project. But all you regular listeners to American Warrior Radio also know that I never fly through the airwaves alone.
Good morning. I'm Glenn McGuffey. I'm retired Air Force, and I'm the retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and eligible family members and survivors obtain the benefits earned through our veteran service to our great nation for 22 plus years, and I've been volunteering a little over 2 since then. So
I just don't know when to quit.
This business is so complicated that I think I'm going to learn it one day. But brings up a point: you should always seek out the services of an accredited veteran service officer to help you with your claim, and don't do it yourself. I guarantee you've got a 99% chance of messing it up if you do it yourself.
And Glenn, for all our listeners out there, even those of you that are listening out of state or maybe even out of the nation, how can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me at Glenn, Glenn, at AVET Project, AVETPROJECT.org. So that's Glenn at avetproject.org.
And folks, we are here in the month of November. It's hard to believe we're almost through another year. But I just got to tell you, we've got a huge show today, and we're going to launch right into it, because here on the Space Coast, we are privileged as AVET Project and American Warrior Radio to have a member of the IAP Worldwide Services family on the line with us right now, Henry Mata, who is going to talk to us about a 5K community walk and run. Henry, on the line. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know we wanted to have you on to speak just briefly about the 5K. But before we do that, very quickly, give us a little synopsis about yourself. I know you're high up in the IAP world, but what did you do before? Have you ever been in the service?
I'm a 6 years Army veteran. Actually, I got out of the service in I went into the service in 1993. Got out in 1999. I pursued a career here at the Space Coast with the Space Shuttle program. I worked there for 12 years. After the Space Shuttle contract was over, I worked for the Army again, and overseas I was in Germany for a 2-year assignment. And for the past 3 years, I've been working for IAP in the HR group. And actually, IAP is a government contracting company, so buy services to the government, to all the military services, Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, and even other DoD contracts.
Sure, and I just want everybody out there to know that both you and your wife have long been volunteers with AVET Project, which we're all volunteers. Nobody's getting a paycheck at AVET Project, but I personally want to thank you for that, because you continue to serve. And we got you on the radio right now because we want to talk about what's happening on the 14th. Share with us.
Okay, on the 14th, we have a community run walk at the Satellite Beach. It's actually the South Patrick Housing. and it's sponsored by IAP, and we have a lot of major sponsors. This 5K is benefiting the ABET project, but it's also benefiting the Brevard School Foundation and the United Way of Brevard. So those are three organizations that they have a local presence, but they do have a global impact on their mission. So we actually support those three causes, and we want to invite everybody to participate, not only locally at the event, because even though the event is full with a lot of great things, we also open the race for people all over the world to participate virtually, and they will receive a finisher's medal and the T-shirt. They will receive a packet with for basically participating. It doesn't matter where they are, whether they want to walk it or run it, or they could actually all participate by visiting iapws.com/5K. They will get all the information about the 5K there. A little highlight about the day of the event at Satellite Beach. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have live music. We're going to have a kiddie race that is actually free for all kids' participation, and they will also receive a little token for finishing that kids' race. So it's going to be a good family event and a fun-filled morning that day on 14th of November.
Exactly, and that's just 1 week from today, people.
Yeah, give us the details there again, please. The when, where, and what, and all that.
Yeah, it's Saturday, November 14th, and it is in Satellite Beach at the South Patrick Housing area. It's Poinsettia Drive, and basically all the information is going to be at www.iapws.com/5K.
Excellent. And you mentioned the virtual. Explain that real quick.
The virtual is anybody that wants to participate. They will actually have the option on the online application to sign up as a virtual runner. So they finish the race at their own time, whatever they can. I mean, you could even finish it on a treadmill if you want to, or you go on a walk around your neighborhood. And then basically, right a few days before the race, we will mail out the electronic bibs. You'll send an email with an electronic bib, and all we need to get from everybody is like basically a picture or something, an acknowledgement that they received and their time, what they did on the race. And we will be mailing out their packages, their participation medals and T-shirts. We will be mailing out the week of November 16th. Sometime after the race, we're gonna basically gather all the information and send everything back to your home. So it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in the state of Florida. You could be at home. You could be in the moon, and you could do 5K. You could actually participate.
For all those lunar participants, yeah. So we're talking with Henry Mata from IAP, which is Ingenuity and Purpose Worldwide Services. Glenn, you want to tell them what other activities are coming up?
Well, looks like in those activities that Henry was talking about are face painting, games, and local food vendors. And I tell you what, this is a family affair, so it looks like a great time to participate in it. And I know a bunch of you out there are runners.
Exactly, and the medals they get for finishing the race are amazing, Henry. You guys did an awesome job with that.
Thank you, Gary. And actually, we also have door prizes for the people that are going to be present at the event. We're gonna have raffles for all the participants in the race. So and we have really good sponsors that provided us with certain door prizes. So I will encourage everybody to show up out there and participate of the race, participate of the event that day, all the events that we're gonna have around. Go support the vendors. I mean, most of the vendors are either ex-military or they have something to do in the military community. So it's going to be a great event that morning.
Awesome. Well, Henry, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us on this fine Saturday. Again, it's 1 week from today. Give them that website so they can register, whether it's here to run the race locally or virtually. How can they do it?
Visiting www.iapws.com/5K.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Henry. It's going to be a blast, and we'll see you there a week from today.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You bet. And folks, we have more announcements, but that's one that you just got to show up for. Like you said, it's a community, it's a family affair.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And we've got some other announcements we have to make because AVET Project, while we are all unpaid volunteers making it happen for our past and present military members and their families, we need financial support in order to do it. Our G&A, General Administrative Costs, is probably one of the lowest in the nation. Like, of the very few dollars that do come in, Glenn, 2 pennies go towards filling the box truck up with gas or paying the storage rent.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of those places out there that the managers, so to speak, get paid big bucks off of the donations before anything goes to support veterans. This is the one that supports our veterans at almost to 100%.
Exactly. You can't get much closer. We do have to do some things, those general administrative costs, but we need support. And thankfully, we've got some, and I've got a couple mentions here. Bloomers Floral Design. They've got a new location here on the Space Coast, 7720 North Wickham, Suite 104 in Suntree. And also the existing location that they've had for quite some time, Georgia Street in Palm Bay. Well, I can't tell you everything. It's up there on the web. Go to avetproject.org. Click on the Facebook icon as well. All the information is there. And Karen at Bloomers is just phenomenal. Glenn, I know that they've got a special on the carnations. What do they got going on there?
Yeah, what a deal. Special carnation bud vase to honor your favorite veteran. I'm looking at a picture of it, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's a whole whopping $11.11.
I love that Veterans Day. So I have to let you know that on Veterans Day, okay, they're going to be open and they want you to come in. If you wear something representing your branch of service, you are going to be entered into a huge giveaway, about $120 stuff. 11% of all the purchases are going to benefit AVET Project. So you go to Bloomers Floral Design. You're going to buy flowers anyway. Why not do it with somebody that supports the troops through AVET Project?
Absolutely. That's wonderful.
And I'll give you the phone number real quick, 321-638-4000. Easy to remember. 638-4000 is their location in Suntree. So please support Bloomers because they're supporting us. And Glenn, we need to get in John's Fine Jewelry because they selected AVET Project for the month of November to be a beneficiary of their ongoing charitable donation program. Everybody that stops in there to buy a watch battery, the proceeds are going to come to AVET Project. How can they get a hold of them?
Yep, you can get a hold of them. Well, they're at 215 Brevard Avenue in Cocoa Village. And you can reach them on the phone, 321-631-0270. And they're open Tuesday through Saturday from 9:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
And they do take a couple days off.
Yeah, they take off Sunday and Monday. Cool.
So check out John's Jewelry, and while you're at it, go to Bloomers and get your flowers on Veterans Day, the 7th through the 14th. So today through the 14th at Bloomers, all month long at John's Fine Jewelry there in Cocoa Village. Help them, help us, help our troops. Okay, help, help, help.
Absolutely, and I'm going to have to come visit them. I just found 2 nice watches. Cleaning up my bureau, and they don't run, so I got to get some batteries.
Okay, now I'm gonna get this next mention out. We've got to get to our bosun's call because I'm so excited to have a new commander of the Coast Guard Station Port Canaveral joining us today in studio. But on November 9th, it's the Firearms Fun Night at Frog Bones. Okay, you can't miss it. Kel-Tech's deeply involved in helping us do this. I'll have some more information about this during the second segment, but we can't delay it any longer. Vince, let's fire up that bosun call. Well, we, like I said, are very happy and pleased to have and be honored to have in studio the new commander of the Coast Guard Station Port Canaveral, Chief Latimer. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very good, Garen. Thank you, and I appreciate you having me here. This is a great experience.
Well, we're glad that you made it in, and this is your initial or inaugural bosun call. Your predecessors have been joining us for years now, Glenn.
Absolutely, and I was telling David before we got going that always finds out something new about what the Coast Guard does and what their mission is that I bet many of our listeners never knew.
Yeah. And I'm honored to carry on the torch from B. Perry.
Great.
Well, and we're glad to have you. Give our audience a little background about yourself. You've been in the Coast Guard a while. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I've been in well, actually, believe it or not, it's coming up on 25 years, and it's amazing on how fast the time flies, because I remember when I joined in January of '91, I was a little apprehensive, didn't know much about the Coast Guard from where I lived up in New Jersey, and joined for 2 years. And the consistent thing was I loved the mission, and I loved the people that I worked with, and I found that to carry out throughout the 25 years that I've been in. My sister was actually the person that got me to join. My sister's a customs agent. She retired about 3 years ago. When they transferred over, now it was ICE, and then I think her last few years there was Department of Homeland Security, just called DHS. So she worked a lot with the Coast Guard up in New York when they had it back on Governor's Island. They don't have it there any longer, but she was the one that, I was kind of comprehending if I should go into the military. I was considering also law enforcement as well. And she said, well, I work a lot with the Coast Guard in Governor's Island, and maybe that might be something that you're interested in. And I did not know a lot about the missions that the Coast Guard did. And I found that throughout my time when I talk about it, I find that seems to be the consistency with a lot of people not knowing a lot about the Coast Guard. And once I started finding out about all the missions that they did, and that every few years when you transfer, you can try another one of those missions if you want to, that just seemed to be the perfect mix for me, and something that kept me in for these 25 years.
I guess so. You found a home.
Yeah, absolutely. I found a home, and I'm going to be leaving kicking and screaming when I become mandatory retirement.
Well, wow, you look like you're about 21 to me, but
Well, thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
what would you think has been your most interesting command or deployment or patrol, whichever sticks out?
Well, I would say my most interesting assignment was probably, I spent a lot of time down in Miami. And, one of the things that I have always said is if I want to be assigned somewhere, I want to be assigned someplace where they're very busy. And there's no shortage of Coast Guard work down in Miami. I mean, they don't shut down, seasonally like some other places up north. So during the time that I was in the early 90s, there were, and still, it still holds true, there was a lot of missions going on with counter narcotics and migrants and migrant interdiction. And the Coast Guard had this old mission where they bought these Go Fast boats and to try to do counter narcotic missions, and it kind of after a period of time it fell through, and that was kind of during the area of the cocaine cowboys, I would say, in like the mid to late 80s, and it kind of stopped, I would say, in the early 90s. Well, in 97 the Coast Guard decided to try another version of that, and they purchased these 42-foot fountain lightning boats that Reggie Fountain's a famous, boat racer, and they decided to try to get those to use as a counter-narcotic mission. And so at the time I was stationed at the Coast Guard station in Miami Beach, and this mission was getting put on through D7 TACLIT, and they do mostly just tactical law enforcement missions. And they called me up and said, hey, would you be interested? And we're going to do 90-day deployments off of Haiti, and then we're going to do deployments in the Bahamas to try to do counter-narcotic missions. So I said, well, let me go talk to my wife first.
The boss.
I got to get approval before I can do all that. And she said, because it was going to be 90 days and it was volunteer, she said, if that's what you want to do, I support you 100%. And I said, okay, sign me up. So the fun part initially is we actually got the training through Reggie Fountain, the boat racer. We went up to St. Augustine. We had the boats, and we were running them around there, and then we were doing deployments, like I said, down off of Jacmel, Haiti, and we were intercepting boats that was coming up from Colombia or different areas throughout the Caribbean, and doing a lot involved with airdrops as well. We were doing patrols. We were staying in Sal Bank for a while. We were staying in Cat Cay in the Bahamas, because there were still airdrops that was going on, during that time. And we were doing a lot with that, and very, very exciting mission.
Very dynamic, fast moving.
But honestly, I'd say one of the most nerve-wracking parts of it was that there, with all the reefs and everything, I mean, we were driving these boats doing about 50 knots through it, and the bad guys are known a little bit more familiar with the area there than what we were, but it was an exciting mission.
And just for a visual for us, Sounds to me like you're describing something similar to a cigar